I've got all these parts that I'm gonna reuse for this Banshee in this box. Out of all of that stuff, so that's gonna get out of here. And all of this is for the BW200. So we're about to get up in there, dudes. Get this motor's electrical all put on, do the clutch side. Be time to install it. Ooh, got some mail here to open and see what other parts we got for this thing. Show you what's in all these boxes, and then we're gonna get back to putting this motor together. Got the new crank in it, new pistons. Alright, got the OEM jack shaft sprockets for the BigWheel 200 and the rear sprocket. Needed this clutch arm, the spring, the seal. I needed this seal for the shift selector. I've got I needed this clutch bushing washer, and there's a spring for that. We got the new reeds and gaskets, and then in here, hopefully these are black. They're supposed to be. Hopefully they're in the same way. Nope, they're both. There we go, dude. All new BigWheel 200 plastics. We're gonna rock the Banshee headlights on the front of this thing. It's gonna look awesome. I'm gonna get a few of these parts selected out to get put back in here. I also had to get this pancake bushing in this box and the rod and shaft. So I'm gonna go through this stuff, start picking out some of it to put on. We're gonna do the clutch side first, and then I'm gonna jump over. This is all should be all the electrical. We're gonna do these pieces first. The spring and the arm, washer seal, in that order right there. And we're gonna bolt her down. Get all this put in, locked down, lubed up. I'm gonna put this rod and ball in probably next. Maybe even the entire clutch assembly. And we got this kick lever here. Billet shift selector cover. We're gonna get that put on. The clutch on. And the reed boots on, and the intake boots and gaskets, and it all torqued down. Gotta get me one of these on order and double check how this water pump connector goes before I get it put in. The new stator plate, adjustable, the new stator. Gonna get those bad boys slapped on as well. Hopefully these threads are the same, but all we're gonna do is put this blinged out plate on there instead. So pull out these 3 Allens, put them on there, put the pickup coil on. That should be that. Woohoo, fully committed after those 2 snapped. Damn it. Well, dudes, I got the electrical done. I got the reeds on today. I got the advanced timing plate on, or the adjustable timing plate on, this shift selector block off, the clutch parts back on. Tomorrow I am going to I have to do a couple things. So there's still lots more to do on this build. I got lots more parts over there to get busy with. I'm gonna mock up a few things tomorrow. Front fender, make sure they're gonna both work together. Pretty soon this sucker's going to powder coat. Back at the BW build, I'm thinking about taking a razor, chopping these off so they're not slapping my fenders the whole time. We're gonna put this front fender on, mock it up. We might have to treat it like a muffler and cut some of it off. So everybody's first reaction, probably jump on Fat Tire Conversions. They actually sell these plastic kits, but they were out of the black fenders, and that's what I wanted. So I went to DC Plastics directly, and they got them to me pretty quick, actually. Only took about 10 days. So in order to turn this thing, if we only did drag racing and we only went straight, that's pretty much all I do, we would have been good. But we're gonna have to take and lop this fender probably around here. So I'm just gonna make a couple marks on it, some random ones mainly. And we're gonna have to take the saw to it later on and get her, I'm gonna say, because it doesn't matter, the wheel travel, because it's mounted on the lower triple. So I'm gonna say if we get We could go to this one and then would definitely be good. Plus we're gonna have a radiator mounted in here, guys, so we're really gonna wanna get wind to it regardless. What I may do is cut it to here and then drill holes in the rest of the back of this so that them radiators gonna need to get the wind now. They gotta get the wind now. As you can see, guys, I don't know if you can or not, but on these side fenders, we're not far off. I wanna say they go here. I'll slap the tank on real quick to confirm. But a hole saw or just a nice little pie cut right there, you know, pie cut in the plastic, that ain't no thing, but that should do it. We're gonna have to extend this rod to make our back brake work. We'll get into that here in a little while. I'm gonna make a mount from here down to here that goes up for the swing arm to mount on the inside of. That way it's just stronger. So that's something that I need to do before I take the powder coat. And I wanna see if this back fender will even fit. Because I'm wondering, does it go under the deal or what? So I've got it here. This side fender, I guess these have to be modified a little regardless, because these wouldn't go in there like the old fenders, that's for sure. I don't know if I need to slit them or just pull that rubber bushing off. But then I'm just gonna notch this as well. And it's gonna work. Everything's gonna be fine, just fine. So that back fender is gonna be just fine. It just sits on there and bolts on here, right? Yeah, that thing doesn't need to be notched or anything. And I got plenty of room to do I believe this is where the seat mounts. So I'm gonna have to make these nice and low key because the seat has a bolt that goes through there. These can't be too thick. If not, I'll have to mount them some other way. But I'm gonna work on that a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and bend a couple brackets. Yeah, that thing's gotta mount a little bit further forward. We're gonna bend a couple brackets, tack them to the triples so that these can mount, bolt in about right here. So I've cut these two little brackets. I'm gonna let them cool off. Bring her over here, I'm gonna tack it on, one here and one over there after I drill the holes. So I'm gonna drill the holes in them, take the fender off, mount them up there, make sure it's where I want it, tack them on, and then put my bolts in so the headlights will stay. And I only need one on each side. I can run a bolt and a washer through it. So I have the light up here mocked up, bolted in, the bolt goes in and out. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure this is all even, which I think it is, and I'm gonna tack a couple tacks on here. No need to do a whole big weld or warp this thing or anything like that. I'm just gonna tack it in 4 spots. Oh, that's a full-blown win for me right there. I just tacked the brackets to the triple. It'll all go through the powder coat process later on. But she's pretty even, I just don't have the bolts tight. Evenly split in the middle. Banshee headlights. So we got this stuff here for the BW Banshee build. That's gonna be a Yamaha style kill switch. There's a harness. There's a couple plugs. We got in here a coil probably. Yeah, this ain't the coil, this is something smaller. We got a rectifier. Coil. Should be the CDI. So let's figure out how we're gonna do this. We'll start with the harness, I guess. Take it over here. It also came with the extra end in case I have to change it to match a different style of year model because the plug's changed over the years. Well, so far so good. Hooked right to the stator, just like it's supposed to. So now we're gonna check out some of these other connections. These obviously go to the headlights. Wait, either those or these. I wanna say these, but it looks like they're both, so I'll probably have to adapt that. I believe they do go to the headlights, but for some reason, these are both females, so you can't do nothing with that. What am I supposed to do, hook them together like that or something? That doesn't work. So we're gonna look at our manual, but I've got the coil hooked up. I'm gonna make a mount for it back here and for the CDI. I'm assuming these two go to the headlights. So I'm gonna have to come up with some connectors for those because those aren't gonna, I wanna say that those two and this one are for the tours. What is all this extra? We got the CDI hooked up coil. Let's see what other sketty, all this sketty. Oh, that makes it a lot easier. No, it really does, guys. So get up in that manual. Gonna make life easier here. We're gonna figure out how to mount this coil back here and maybe the CDI on the other side coming this way. And we'll still have room for our carbs and our air filters. So I think that's the plan. And then I can just bundle up all this extra wire, run it up to here or something. We should be good. It won't be as visible and all janky looking. Here we go, dudes. Let's get some tools we're gonna need. And let's get this wiring harness figured out, come up with some solutions on how to mount it. Let's get some spark. Let's get it sparking. We'll finalize everything on to the next step. Let's grab some tools real quick. So I'm not the best wire, but I've got these two things here. And I've got a couple other little kits in this cabinet somewhere. And I'm gonna need this Banshee manual for the electrical wiring diagram. And I got some more electrical stuff down there. So I'm gonna get it out, get set up over here, get comfortable, and we'll walk through this together. All right, got me some tools here. A little heat for these connectors. Went ahead and put my kill switch on so I can go ahead and get it routed, see about where it's gonna be, because that's gonna play into how I wire all this. I don't wanna put it together and realize it's too short or way too long. Same thing with these. We wanna get these converged so that we can figure out how we're gonna do them. And I got my manual right here with the whole setup on it, so we should be good. I got a little box for the trash. Some of this in the end we're gonna delete, I'm sure. I'd love to just start deleting a lot of it, but the easiest way to do that is to start wiring it up. So I'm gonna start with this kill switch. Then I'm gonna come up with the mount for this coil, probably right in here somewhere. And then on the opposite side of that, I figure we mount this bad boy and this. I wish I had a Banshee here. I only have the Snow Moshi, but if I had a Banshee, you know, I could look at how they did it. The tank doesn't cover up a whole lot, and I got radiators going on up in here, so I'm thinking about right here is where all this electrical is gonna have to go. But let's get after it a little bit, and then we're gonna check for spark as soon as we can. All right, so I wanna be able to disconnect this from the harness. So I'm gonna end up putting these style male and female connectors on it. Another good thing is, so I've trimmed all these back, but a good thing about doing it this way is if you determine that this likely Chinese switch doesn't work properly, it's a lot easier to diagnose and test by unplugging them than unwiring them. So we're gonna put a bunch on this end. Then I'm gonna cut this and do the same thing. But I may end up trimming this back a little. I just gotta get my harness kind of running here, how it's gonna have to be. So I'm gonna break out some zip ties as well. First things first, get all these with the end on them. So full disclosure on this here. These will individually have to be heat shrunk because you can't have these laying next to each other and possibly touching, or touching the frame for that matter, with juice going through them, because you could lose spark, you could short out your something, or you know, mess up your deal, or something happens. It's good for testing. Then whenever I solidify it, I'm gonna have me a piece of I got them in that other case over there. Heat shrink you put over it, and I'll do them all individually. So now I'm gonna do this end. I'm gonna get me a measurement. I gotta get all this lined out real quick, get some zip ties on it. So grab us some zip ties. That way we can get a look at where everything's sitting. And then I'll know how long to make this harness, because I don't want a bunch of slack. I hate having harnesses folded up or extra slack and all that stuff. While I'm doing that, y'all click on the subscribe button. Come on now, I know y'all wanna see this run. Come on. First of its kind, dudes, get up in there. All right, so we're kind of good here. I found a place to mount the CDI. And then I had the coil back here, but the way that the lights are close to it, I had to move it. So I moved it forward to here, and I can make a little mount in there for it to ground to. I just got the zip ties up here for now so that I can mock all this up real nice. So now what I did was I had this wired together, so I just pulled the wrap back a little bit, and I'm gonna rewrap these individually to give me more room to get to these lights, get these all figured out. Hopefully this won't be just dangling everywhere. That's the plan. All right, a couple more modifications. I split this back some more, so now I can get where I need to attach to the lights and to the on-off switch and to the key switch. And then I just folded this up in half. Probably what I'll do while this is off at powder coat, I will shorten this entire harness and get a lot of this dead wire out and get a lot of this thin wire out of here, replace it with some thicker wire. All right, so we're getting close. I'm gonna have this pinned up here in a minute, but I've got my 2 headlight connections that I need to make. And then one of these is for the key switch, and one of them is for the, one of them's for the thumb throttle switch, which I think it may need to be put together too. And then the other, YB is yellow and black, and BW is black and white, yellow and black, and black. This is probably for the tours. This is for the tours. Yellow and black, black and white. Okay, so that one's safe. Then you got green, BY. What is BY? Black and yellow. I'm gonna investigate a little bit, but I got all these. I had to cut off another one. So we've ditched this plug, and there's another one around here somewhere. But this is starting to get tightened up. I'm gonna mount the coil there, get all these done up, figure out what the hell these 3 wires go to, because those 3 are unaccounted for, and this has to go on. All right, messy time now, guys. That's supposed to be the throttle switch, the key switch. These are to the kill switch. I've got this grounded via this wire for now, and I hit it with the Dremel. I know it's a good ground. This harness has a blue wire that I believe is supposed to go to the rectifier. Then I've got this black one that goes to the tail light, I think. This yellow one, I don't know where it goes. This is for the other headlight. Oh. Let's see. What's the green and yellow? Maybe this needs to be together. That's the only thing I haven't tried. We'll give it a shot. Maybe some of you gurus know, but so far, no spark. It could be the cheap Stator, it could be a lot of things, but you'd think I'd get a little bit of spark. She's not sparking. Any ideas, dudes? I got the key switch bypassed, I believe. One of these is for the throttle override. The other one is they're both for the tours. This is for the tours. Headlight, I have this mystery yellow wire, mystery blue wire, mystery black wire, and then this rectifier that needs to go down. I tried grounding the coil through this, hoping that would do it. Maybe that's my issue, I don't know. Let me know, dudes. I'm gonna get back at this tomorrow. Get up in there. Get up in there. Be sure and give me a like and subscribe. Lots more on the channel, dudes. I'm wanting to rip that. I have to finish this and a couple other little tweaks. I finally settled on my radiators. They're en route. So hopefully into next week, it'll be going to powder coat and we'll be ripping it. But I got to get the damn thing sparking. So comment below if you think you can help with that. Appreciate you, dudes. Give me a follow on TimeMachinesatvs Instagram. Lots of stuff going up for sale. Appreciate you.